Hello there, and welcome to my house today. I am in Aden, and I'm at a place called Home Place, and I have the privilege of talking with Pam Eldridge. She's Pamela Eldridge. I'm Pamela Carson. We have a lot in common, and I just want you to know I love this lady. She has a heart for the Lord, and she's doing a wonderful service. She happens to be Ann Grimes' assistant, among a whole bunch of other titles, and we'll just leave it right there because she does, I don't even know how many things. But I just want to talk with her today, and I want to hear a little bit about your story. It's important to me that we all talk to each other and share what God is doing in our lives, because we're going through some tough times. We're facing things that people have never faced before. Obviously, with the pandemic and just the economy, and goodness, we could go on and on and on. But God has a plan, and that's what I want us to see here. When we talk to people in our interviews and our little get-togethers here at my house, I want us to know and understand that God has a plan. And often the things that seem to be a crisis, or an obstacle at least, are the very vehicles that He's going to use to take us from where we are to where He would have us to be. And so today we're going to visit with Pam, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her story and some of the things that she's been through, and the things that God has done in her life to take her from where she was to where she is today. And so if you don't mind, if you tell us a little bit about yourself and everything, I just am so excited to talk to you today.
Well, Pam, I appreciate this. I really do. It's a great opportunity to be able to share where I've come from and how gracious God has been to me for all the years that I've lived, and how much He's put favor on me. And I think my testimony really relates to a lot of favor. God gave me a lot of grace in my life and favor. And but on top of that, it didn't do without struggles and without trials and without temptations. And through all of that, it makes you the person that you are today.
That's right.
No matter what age you are, your trials, your tribulations, they hammer into where you're going to go and what you're going to do in your life. They really do.
Yes, they do.
So that you have an opportunity like me to kind of look back over these years. 71 years is, to me, a lot of years. And I'm like...
Look, we're just getting started, okay?
But I actually feel like I'm just getting started for what's going on in my life now.
Right.
I think God gives you new chapters and new visions and new vessels and new opportunities to grow. And I am not from, I was not born here in the South. I was born in Massachusetts.
Well, we'll accept you anyway and love you just the same, okay?
Well, the thing is that I've been here for over 30 years, so to me, this is my home.
Yes.
I never thought when I first came here to Greenville, I came kicking and screaming through a marriage, and I did not want to come here because there wasn't even anything on Greenville Boulevard. I mean, it was dead. It was just like, where is this place? I feel like I was being dragged to the end of the world. But I grabbed hold of Greenville, and Greenville grabbed hold of me, and I think it allowed me to grow different things and to be successful in this town. So I know God brought me here for a reason,
Right.
I grew up in a home in Massachusetts with 6 kids, and we weren't rich by any means. We were poor family, and I graduated high school when I was 16. And, I was a dreamer. I'm a visionary, and I'm a dreamer. And so I knew I was getting out of that town. I know how. But I knew as I was going through it, there was gonna come a day I was gone.
Right.
And it did. It worked out. But at 17 years old, I got married. And I moved to South Carolina. I married a military man who who started my life off with traveling with all over the country, which I thoroughly enjoyed.
Yes.
I loved my military life. I really did. I enjoyed it. I've got some great friends from it, and I got 3 children from it.
How about that?
So I was married for like 15 years, and like I said, life was really good, but life is life, and no matter what, things happen. I was married to a man who was very strong in the Lord, but stepped off the banner for a little while, and it destroyed the marriage.
Right.
And that's okay. I learned a lot from that, but it was a trial. It left me with a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth. Like, I'm thinking, if you can't trust a preacher, who can you trust?
Right.
You know, I sort of had that bad taste, and but you know, God healed me in a way where I was able to forgive and move on to the next opportunity in my life, and I did. I moved on. I've done lots of things in my life. I actually went to got a degree in medical assistance, and never did the first day working at that job, but I did go to school for it. Anyway, but I have been in sales most of my life, so God kind of moved me to stay. I was actually in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I loved Fayetteville. You know, and lots of things happened there, and I met another man, and I remarried, and but that job also took me. Traveled. I worked for Philip Morris.
Okay.
And believe it or not, I sold cigarettes for like almost 9 years. You know?
Okay.
And it's like,
interesting, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I love that job. I really did. Even though when you think back now, if somebody listens to this video, they're going to say, "Oh, she sold cigarettes." But back then, they used to put cigarettes everywhere in the stores, and
they sure did.
And that's how you made your living. And I made a great living doing it.
Yes.
But one day, somebody approached me and said, "You know, I was the cause of cancer," and it just kept weighing on me and weighing on me. Anyway, I eventually left that job and started off in sales. But I also have owned a daycare center. And I was in Fayetteville. I was the first 24-hour daycare center that they had there.
Oh my word, 24 hours!
So there was a lot of factory there. So there was the factory people there needed.
Oh yeah.
You know,
so it really served a purpose there. Okay.
Yeah. So I've owned a daycare center. I've worked in sales, and I think sales just got a hold of me, and I don't know. I just wanted to do that. It's where my happy place, I guess you could say that. And so I lived in Fayetteville for until I married my second husband, and then I moved on to Florida. And
wow,
I did this.
So you went the gamut all the way from the north to the very.
That's exactly right. So I told God I was going to just keep me moving, just keep me going. And so I worked in the Philip Morris thing until I quit there, and then I went to work for. We actually moved from Florida up to Virginia, and I became vice president of marketing for a company in Manassas, Virginia.
Oh, really?
And that was a wonderful lady who wrote children's books. And I helped this girl. She was down and out. She was in a wheelchair, and she couldn't sell her books. And so I talked with her about it, and I read this book over, and it was about being adopted. Her book was about adopting. And so I said, I think I can help you. So what I did was I took this book, and I went around to all of the doctors, the lawyers, all the businesses in each little city, and sold them a spot, and then sold it into the school system, and the school system used it. So I got her back up on her feet, and I loved that little job. That was really cute. And so I'm just trying to say to you in who I am, is you just never know the kind of people God's going to put in front of you that's going to change the direction of your life.
Absolutely.
You know? And so I went from selling cigarettes to selling children's books, which is
it's quite a difference, right?
Quite a difference right there, you know. And so gradually I ended back up here in Greenville.
Okay.
And from Greenville, when I came to Greenville, I told you there was nothing here. And I didn't know what I was going to do, so I just came from a big job in Manassas to here, and I couldn't find any work. And some people will remember there was a Zales store here, and it was
Yes.
at the old mall.
Oh, yes.
And so they had a little part-time sign up, and I'd never sold jewelry in my life, and so, but I needed a job, and
Yeah.
so you do what you got to do.
Exactly.
So I went in there, and I was a young girl, and she was the manager, and I told her that, I'd like to try this, and so I convinced them to give me the opportunity, and this was in October of that year, and so I learned everything I could learn about diamonds and
Oh,
stones.
wow. You could
and
teach me a
everything.
thing or two, that's for sure.
And I became a diamond specialist.
Okay.
Anyway, I worked in that store, and by December, this was October, November, in December, the district manager came to me, and they fired that manager and hired me as the manager.
Oh, wow.
And so I worked for Zales. I worked there that year, and then they sent me to, I went to Raleigh, and I opened up $1 million store for them in Raleigh.
Wow.
And then I came back here, and I went to work for Friedman's Jewelers, which mostly everybody knows Friedman's Jewelers
Yes.
was in the mall for years.
Yes, yes.
So I worked for them for about another 8 years, and
Okay.
that was almost a $2 million store. So I
Wow.
worked for them till they closed down, and then I was hired on by Saslow's Jewelers. And so,
Yes, yeah.
I worked for Saslow's and took them to $1 million store. And so I love jewelry. I love selling.
Okay.
Jewelry,
I love it.
but in the midst of all of this and being here in Greenville, what really happened to me was I built what God wanted me to build. I built a reputation in Christ.
Okay.
I built a reputation in jewelry. I built a reputation as a good friend.
Mm-hmm.
I built a reputation of people understanding who I was,
Mm-hmm.
or feeling in my life that, because I love people that, go ask Pam or come to Pam,
Mm-hmm.
or, Pam knows this or what. And so I felt very built up at that time in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I hated that those stores closed. I really did,
Mm-hmm.
because I thoroughly enjoyed selling jewelry.
Yeah.
And but also in my lifespan after selling all that, actually it was before that, before I got into the jewelry, I got ahead of myself, but I also owned Mrs. Fields Cookies in
Okay.
the mall, and with my children now, we had 2 bridal stores, and we had a computer company.
Okay.
And
Wow.
it was called Little Lamb's Computer School.
So you were busy.
Yeah, and so this is back when children didn't know how to operate a computer.
Right.
So I would go to the daycare centers, and I had 10 laptop computers and some headsets, and I would teach people's children how to run a computer.
Good heavens.
And so I loved that business too, but we sold it.
Yeah.
But eventually we sold the cookie store, and we closed down the bridal stores. My children wanted to do other things.
Right.
And, but I loved doing the bridal work too. The bridal work was really good. And God was preparing me at that time in my life for what's going to take place, or what is taking place now, where I am right now.
Okay.
And little did I know that back then, learning how to handle a wedding or brides or whatever,
Right.
that one day I'd be marrying people. So
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
I've come full circle around that.
So tell me what you're doing now.
So right now, I am as Pam had just said, I work for Ann Grimes
Mhm.
as a personal assistant for Ann
Mhm.
Grimes.
Okay.
I also am we have a ministry together. So our ministry is at Home Place Events.
Okay.
And also at Home Place Events, we have a venue. So we operate this venue, and we have a wedding barn.
Okay.
And so we are growing this ministry in service to the Lord through Bible studies on a daily basis. We use our venue for Bible studies and get-togethers and
Okay.
and sharing the Lord as much as we can. Praise and worship events. Gospel sings, everything that we can get our hands on that would lift to the glory of God.
Okay.
And then we're using the venue, and we just started the venue up this past year. And the venue now, we're having, you can book a party here. You can, we've done bridal showers and weddings and receptions and retirement parties and all of that.
Goodness.
And so we're using this place that God has given us, because one day we'll talk about with Ann and I about
Yeah.
how the vision came about for all of that.
Oh yeah, I'd love to do
because
that.
That's amazing. But now my life is I'm director for these places, and it's amazing. I mean, it's just amazing. So I get to minister to people. Last year, I became an ordained minister, and so I've been ministering all these years to people. Now I get to marry them, you know.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, I have a terrible time with funerals, though. I cry at everybody's funeral. So Ann and I have this standard joke that says, "You bury him, I'll marry him. You bury him."
Okay.
Because
I hope has she had to do
no,
that
she
yet?
hasn't had to do
Okay,
it yet.
just checking. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think I could bury somebody. I really don't. So I would try, but I would probably cry through it.
Oh yeah.
But we have thoroughly enjoyed it, and you know, the struggles in my life, which have been many, have brought me to have peace. You know,
Yes.
What I'm doing now, God prepared me for, and I
Yes.
saw it all these years. The preparation that He puts into it. When you're back and you're in the struggle, or you're in the trial, or you're in wherever you are in life, you think, you know, God, what the heck are you doing to me? You know,
Yes.
I don't want to
Yes.
be here. I don't like it here. Or,
This doesn't feel
you know,
good.
This does not feel like where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
You know,
Right.
but you persevere and you move on and you keep going, and then all of a sudden your eyes are open.
That's
and
right.
Your eyes. You know, you finally see God's direction.
Yes.
You finally see what all this was for.
Yes.
And it's all going to be for His glory.
Absolutely.
It's all going to be to
Absolutely.
serve Him. It's all going to be part of His plan.
Absolutely.
Not your plan.
That's
You know,
right.
I have really learned that God is the planner, not you.
That's right.
You can say anything you want, you can plan anything you want, but God will have the final say.
Isn't that something?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, I may be. You tell me if I'm off track here, but you sold diamonds. You learned about cut, clarity. I don't even know all those C's that you know what, carat, all that. And now you're helping to turn people into diamonds.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And through God's eyes,
Yes.
and what He would have them to be.
Mm-hmm.
And shoot, what more could you do? Well, I mean, what better thing could you do than that to help people become the brilliant work of God that He's called them to be, so that their light shines and it spreads out in all directions, just the way it does when it goes through a diamond.
Yep. Yeah. It's really funny because when I grew up, my father was a person that could not say anything good about me. He didn't like me, and so all my life I heard words like how stupid I was and how I'm never going to amount to anything and everything. And I'm so the opposite of that. You know, I'm smart, and I've educated myself. I educated. I went out and I thought, I'm never going to fill that stupid word.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to. And I know that there's lots of other people in the world that have had people, you know, fill their vessel with the wrong words.
Yes.
And, you know, words mean everything.
Yes.
You know, words shoot straight to the heart.
Yeah.
You know, they go in the brain, and you heard somebody say it, but if it's something bad about you, it goes straight to the heart. And it lives in us until we really can take this to the Lord and learn how to separate it. You know, that this is not, I am a child of God. I am a king. I'm a daughter of a king. You know, I am His everything.
That's right.
He wakes me up every morning. He tells me every day how beautiful I am. And even when I tell myself I'm not so pretty today, He lets me know I am.
But He says we're to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. And that's literally, that's what I've had to do. Yeah. And that's what you had to do. Yes. We have to flush out. My daddy used to have an illustration. My dad was a preacher, for those of y'all that don't know it. And he said, if you've got some trash in a pail, he grew up on a farm, if you've got trash in a pail and you try to pour it out, the trash just keeps going back to the back of the pail. So you can't get the trash out that way. You have to keep on filling with clean, pure water, and the trash goes out over the side and is washed away. And that's literally what we have to do in our lives. We have to keep filling and filling and filling with the Word of God and with the truth of who we are in Jesus and the person that He has made us to be and called us to be. And then eventually that takes over and the lies go away and we can become fully the person that He intends for us to be and has called us to be. And I just think that's so awesome. I just think that's wonderful.
I think when you meet the place where God wants you to be, with the people that you want God to be with.
Right.
You know, we can bring lots of people into our lives. We can meet lots of people, but there's, you know, we are to guard our hearts.
Oh, yes.
You know, God gives us rules and regulations about our life, but when you truly are where you're supposed to be, you know it.
That's right.
And I know I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Well, I think one of the biggest ways, and I feel this for me in my life, but you said you're at peace. I'm at peace. And the Bible says to follow after peace. Let peace rule in your heart as an umpire. And that's when we know that we're where we're supposed to be. I mean, and goodness, I mean, even though things come along and I don't feel good one day, I'm still at peace.
That's right.
And that's huge. It's just the biggest thing ever. Goodness. I just thank you so much. This has been wonderful.
Thank you.
I love your story and I love you, and I just can't wait to see all that God is doing and going to do in the future.
Yes.
And we are going to get with Ann and we're going to talk about home place. I can't wait to do that. And I thank you all for being with us today. This is all about the Lord, and it's all about what He's done and what He is doing in our lives. And, you know, I don't want it to be so much like we're preaching at you. I just want you to see our heart and to see that God is with us and with you, and He's for you, and He wants what's best for you. And, you know, in Him we are successful.
Yes.
And in Him, when we put our faith and our trust in Him, He's going to take us from where we are to where we need to be and give us that peace that passes all understanding.
Yes.
So thank you so much for coming and visiting with us today. And we're going to see you soon, all right? And so goodbye for now, and God bless. I love you all. Bye-bye.